good afternoon, I would suggest, given the time. It is 1 o'clock. Just give it a second or two to let a couple of people jump on here, and then we'll post some links down below. If you do have any questions, just stick them in the comments, and I will get them answered. So, for anyone who is new to the live, basically what we do is we run through members' questions, or we run through questions of anybody who does want to join the 6-week transformation, or questions from some of the legends like Sabine, who's watching now, who's been on the transformation program before. Well done. Cool. So a couple of different questions that we got my list. Shoot them through in the comments if you haven't asked me already, or DM me. I'll get them done on next week's live. If you can't watch the live, this is always recorded and we stick it up on YouTube, and then you can get it on the members question section of the website. So question number 1, can I get addicted to protein shakes? So yeah, one of the members seems quite fond of the protein shakes, which is nice, but the likelihood of you getting addicted to the protein shakes is incredibly small. Obviously, we use supplementation here on the challenge because it's quite hard to actually get the higher levels of protein that you'd normally consume into the diet. That's obviously good for building muscle while you're in a calorie deficit if fat burning is your goal, and obviously building muscle if you're on a muscle gain as well, getting the calories up. But no, you're very unlikely to get addicted to the protein shakes. They don't have anything in them that's addicted. You probably just like the flavor because you're enjoying it. Although I did have a very interesting conversation earlier on today about drugs and addiction. So apparently, so this isn't fitness related, but an interesting fact, drug dealers now are dipping cannabis or hash in heroin and cocaine to get you more addicted, so you buy more. So stay away from the drugs and stick to the protein shakes, because you're very unlikely to get addicted to the protein shakes. So there you go. That's drugs and protein shakes. Okay, question number 2. I've just started on the challenge. Which classes should I do? So obviously we've got a lot of people who start on the challenge. Some people are complete beginners, never done anything before. Some people are intermediate but haven't trained in a long time. Some people are a little bit more intermediate to advanced, etc. But they're on the challenge for different reasons. So which session should you do? So this is what I'd actually suggest. If you're a total beginner, I would jump in and maybe just do one of the boxing sessions. It's a little bit more of a cardio class. So it's like your week 1, jump in, do a boxing session, have a little bit of cardio. Interestingly, we do have potentially some new boxing classes coming soon. All will be revealed soon, for members only though, but we'll keep you posted on that. Start with a boxing and then do a HIIT class, and start with a midweek HIIT class, because the HIIT classes are 45 minutes long midweek, and the Saturday class is an hour long. Generally what I'd suggest is, if you want to do the strength and conditioning class, get at least a couple of weeks of HIIT classes and boxing classes in first, so then you can go down and work with Joe on some specialist moves for the strength and conditioning classes. So that would sort of be my advice, is start off with boxing, then do a HIIT class, then move up to strength and conditioning, which is just a little bit more advanced. Some of you who have trained before might be able to jump in on that a little bit sooner, but that would be my advice on what classes do. Question number 3, I'm sick, should I train? So this one has come up beforehand. It really does depend on your level of sickness. So up there, we've got like antibiotics and stuff like that. No, don't train, take a break, give your body some time to rest, because sickness is a stressor for your body, as is training. So if you're burning the candles at both ends and then throwing a bloody weekend out or something like that in there, you're just going to burn out even further. So listen to your body, allow yourself to rest. Rest and recovery and sleep are absolutely key, whether you're building muscle or trying to burn body fat as well. Because if you don't have a good night's sleep, or you're burning the candle at both ends, it will affect just like hormone levels and all that sort of stuff. It can just throw off your gain. So I very much recommend, when you're sick, not training. That says, like, I mean, I've got a little bit of a sniffle at the moment because it got a little bit colder this week, but I'm still training myself, because I know I'm not sick. I've just got like a little bit of a sniffle, so I didn't throw that one out the window. So listen to your body. If you're unsure, shoot me a question, tell me what's wrong with you. Obviously, I'm not a doctor, but I would look good in a white coat, so we will consider that. But yeah, if you're sick and you're unsure, shoot me a question. A couple of people have, and I said, look, take a break and we'll see how you go. Remember, you've got a full week to get your 3 sessions in. So if you need 2 or 3 days off in between, at the start, at the end, that's okay. So just think about that. We're all adults here. We're all grown-ups. We know when we're sick. We know we're not sick. Number 4 on the list, should I track my exercise in MyFitnessPal? So I wouldn't bother. Again, this has come up a few times. I wouldn't bother tracking it, even if you've got like a Fitbit and it's connected to. Definitely wouldn't bother tracking the exercise. Why would I not bother? Because when we're calculating our calories at the start, we're already factoring in exercise or lack thereof. So when you track your calories in MyFitnessPal, it deducts them from the amount of calories you've eaten. So you're like, oh, great, I've got 400 calories left. And you might go ahead and eat them, which is very likely to happen. The other thing that tends to happen is people don't track accurately. So they're probably consuming more calories than they think they are. And then if you've got this like extra, calorie goal to reach, you're very likely as a human to just go ahead and do that, because we are all imperfect, and that's what makes us perfect at the end of the day. But when it comes to being in a calorie deficit for fat loss, let's try and be a little bit more perfect in that sense there. So yeah, don't bother tracking the exercise in MyFitnessPal. Right, what else we got? Yeah, this has actually come up a couple of times. I'm hungry. Should I up my calories? Yeah, absolutely. So if you've gone on and calculated your calories, and then you're in a major calorie deficit. So I had someone yesterday who was in a big calorie deficit. Now, they said they weren't hungry, but I've had quite a few people who said, yeah, they're really hungry. But like they've gone on and calculated their calories, and then they've looked for their maintenance and then their deficit calories, and they've gone for like the most extreme level. Like, I want to lose like a kilo a week. And that's super extreme. Why are you going that extreme on your calories if you're going to be hungry? So if you're hungry, again, listen to your body. Increase the calories. Maybe you add 100, maybe you add 200, whatever it is, depends on your individual calculation. And that's going to make it much more sustainable. Because remember, if you're doing the 6-week challenge with us, you're trying to get some results in a shorter period of time, but the long-term goal is really to continue exercising, understand your food and nutrition, and stay on. So you want to do something that's sustainable. So if you find a sustainable level of calories for you that burns the body fat you want or gets you in the shape you want, you got to work with that. Don't just try and ram it all in the 6 weeks. That's not really the point of the challenge. The point of the challenge is nutrition, education. Obviously, we do all the accountability, so that can keep you on track. It's really forming those habits for the long term. It's not just about the short-term results. Will you get short-term results? Yeah, you will. But if you do it in a more sustainable way, you'll be much happier and it'll be much easier to maintain in the long term. So if you feel your calories are a little bit low and you're on the challenge, bang me a DM. Tell me your calories. We'll look at your maintenance. We'll look at what you're doing. We're looking at the number of classes you're doing per week, your exercise, activity levels, etc. And then we can recalculate those calories. So all good. Okay, Michelle, I see you joined. You were supposed to have a body scan this morning. Wasn't there, Michelle? Next time. Anyway, let's jump in. Question number 6. Oh yeah, this is actually a really, really interesting one. My measurements have gone up. Discuss. Okay, so let's talk about chest measurements first. So a lot of times what I'll see on clients who have a smaller frame is if they're starting resistance training for the first time, their chest measurements, which we sort of do around nipple height, can tend to go up. So why is that? Usually because you're building pec muscles, so from doing like a push-up or a press movement, and also because you're building your lat muscles. You're doing some back work, so you're building the muscles at the side, okay? So your measurements can tend to go up. So what I see with a lot of people is after a while, their chest goes up, their waist goes down, and then their hip measurement goes up. So where we take the hip measurements, which is where the femur goes into the hip at the side, we kind of do it there so we can get the circumference and get your bum in as well. So a lot of people are doing like glute activation exercises. Maybe they haven't done them before, so their bum is actually starting to go a bit bigger. So when we do that hip measurements, it's not that you're getting wider on the hips, it's actually that your bum is probably getting a little bit bigger. So again, a lot of people, when we, like if I was to give you like a picture of, a lot of different people, and you said, what sort of body shape would you like? A lot of people will pick the one where it's sort of like bigger on the top, smaller in the middle, and bigger on the bottom. So that's generally what's happening to people. So you don't need to worry about that. However, when your waist measurements go up, it's usually two things. You've either taken the first measurement up too high, so in around the top. We use the belly button as the marking point for doing the waist measurements. It tends to say in the same place. So sometimes you've just taken it at the wrong spot, so don't worry about that. However, what is very likely to happen with a lot of female clients that I'm working with is it can be the time of the month. So a lot of times, let's say I'll do like a mid or an end way measurement, and they'll have their period and they'll be a little bit bloated. So they'll actually have gone up on their waist. So just like factor that into account, like be aware of what stage you're at in your cycle. So you don't get a measurement, you're like, fuck, I'm really disheartened because I got that measurement, because that's usually not the case. It is potentially just the fact that it's the time of the month and stuff like that. So just bear that in mind. Be really mindful of where you are in the cycle, so you're not like mentally destructing all the good work you've done because you've gone up a centimeter or 2 centimeters or something like that. If it's not that and everything is going up, it's because you're not tracking your calories correctly. Okay, this is will happen to a couple of people. They think they're eating X amount of calories, they're eating Y amount of calories, they're actually putting on a little bit of weight. There's a couple of other things I was discussing, can discuss this individually with people who have some of those issues where there was like lack of sleep, there was stress, all that sort of stuff. Even exercising too much was having a negative impact due to other stressors in the person's life that led to overconsumption of calories and as a stress relief mechanism, and then a bit of weight was put on. But once you identify those things, that's fine. But in general, if it's top and bottom, it's usually that you're actually building muscle. Bang, that's a good thing. If it's waist, it can be time of the month or incorrect measurement. If you're unsure about anything, that's what I'm here for. Come down and see me at class, send me a DM, and we'll get that answered for you as well. Next one here, what have I got? Oh yeah, my body scan, there was a couple of people, or one or two people, maybe one person the other day who did a body scan and it didn't come out correctly, or it came up as an error reading on the scanner. With the body scanners that we use, a couple of things can happen. One, if you've got like rings on your fingers, or if your feet are dusty or dirty and stuff like that, the little pulse thing that goes through the scanner can't always take a reading. So all you got to do is make sure that you have clean feet, clean hands, clean the scanner, we can go again. So we got like wipes and stuff like that you can use. So anyone who that happened to, I think it was just one person the other day, but they were wondering about that. That's why your reading might come out incorrect or not show up at all. The other thing that can happen is if you really should do your body scans in and around the same time every time you're doing them, because if you don't, it might give an inconsistent reading. So make sure you're doing your scans before a class, you're hydrated. So I did, the scanners actually measure your water percentage in your body. So I had someone before who like literally came straight from a night out. Very impressed. They actually made it in, given the time they were up till, and they did a scan. They were super dehydrated because they've been out on the lash. And it gave a very, I suppose, good reading, but it was totally inaccurate. So you want to do them consistently at the same time. If it doesn't show up, it's usually just dust on your feet, or it's not making a proper connection between your palms of your hands with the one that we use. Anyway, that said, that was a question someone had. The pictures are where you're going to see the biggest difference, pictures and measurements. So focus on that. Those are the things you're going to see the biggest difference in the short, medium, and long term as well, pictures and measurements. So that's why we kind of put the focus on that. What else have we got here? Yeah, I can't hit my protein goals. So obviously the protein goals we give you on the challenge are a lot higher than you might normally have. Those are to accelerate the results during the 6-week challenge. If you can't hit them, drop it down by 5 or 10%. See if you can hit that. You're still going to get results. It might just take marginally longer. Like I'm talking like a couple of weeks, depending on what your goals are in terms of body shape, size, etc. So if you're a little bit stressed about that, you're not sure what you need to do, bang me through a DM. I'll get that answered for you, and away we go from there. So if you can't hit the specific protein goals, the daily ones that we give you, we can alter them slightly. So remember, it's a daily protein goal. You can play around with the carbs and fats, the calories, and we might be able to get you where you need just by making some slight adjustments. And remember, that's key for sustainability. And then last but not least, a couple of people were asking about going to FitYard. So FitYard is a nightclub fitness festival that's going to be run out in Jam Park. So there's a bunch of different buses and transport options that you can get up there. So it's going to be on in a couple of weeks. Email went around about Jam Park, or click any of the links and stuff like that. There's a couple of different sessions and classes you can do. Do they count towards your sessions for the 6-week challenge? Yes, absolutely they do. We also have, I think there's brunch and stuff like that going on out there as well. So also we like a bit of fitness and a bit of social. So if you haven't got your tickets for FitYard yet, I'll leave a little link in the comments. And you can look that up as well. So as per usual, guys, I've got my sort of 9-10 questions I do per week. Try and get this done on a Wednesday at lunchtime so you can have a little lunch and learn within your calorie range. If you do have questions, that's absolutely fine. Shoot them through to me. If you're new to movement and you're interested in joining, I do have some links there for the 6-week challenge or 6-week program that we do. You can train across our 4 locations in Dublin. But shoot me through questions. Pop them in the comments. If you're a member, DM me with anything you're not sure about. Always good to ask them online so we can answer the questions for everybody. and helps everybody learn. So that's it, guys. Peace out. We'll see you down at training, and have a good rest of your day.